I think we're live. We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome as Zenith Players For Real Now presents The Wheel of Shakespeare, Macbeth. So if you've been here and seen one of these before, you know that it's going to be crazy. If you have not, we have 10 random actors who will be given 10 random roles and one of 10 random themes. They will then have 10 minutes to go get whatever costumes and virtual backgrounds and actorly preparations they want to do before I say act one, scene one. So without further ado, let's find out who's going to play who. I'm going to share this and I'm going to click the magical randomize button thanks to Google. And here we go. We have as Macbeth, Paula K. Long, as Macduff, Macduff's son, Fleance, the sergeant, the second apparition, Steve Anderson, as Lady Macbeth, the third witch, young Seward, and an attendant, Mira Singer, as Malcolm, the second witch, and a lord, Matthew Kisher, as the first witch, first murderer, the porter, and the old man, Emily Durango, as Lady Macduff, a gentlewoman, and Lennox, we have Claire Bohannock, as Duncan, the second murderer, Satan, and the third apparition, we have Shakira Searle. As Ross Menteith, servant, and the first apparition, we have Lorraine Ruth Rosenberg. As Banquo, Hecate, Seward, and Caithness, we have Jacqueline Hume. As the Doctor, Messenger, third murderer, Angus, and Donalbain, we have Michael J. And I will paste all of that into our Zoom chat so that it is saved for them. Now I will turn off my virtual background because it doesn't seem to work when I have it on. And now I'm going to bring up our spin wheel and we'll find out what our theme is. And I'll give it a second to load. And here we go. It's spinning away. And today we will be doing Macbeth Under the Sea. And I will set up my camera here. Get ready with the egg timer of the Prince's Doom. You now have 10 minutes to get ready.
All right.
Okay. And now.
So Mira, will you be going under the sea?
Oh, wow. Mira, by the way, for those of you joining us at home, Mira is on a boat. If Mira does lose connection at some point, I will be stunt Mira. So I guess I should find out who Mira is playing. Oh, good, Lady Macbeth. I can do that. So that will be great. All sorts of fun stuff going on. Claire is being attacked by a Tyrannosaurus. Mira's on a boat. Emily's virtual background, or all these blur backgrounds kind of leave out the middle. That's interesting and exciting. Shakira has gone under the sea. Fun. I guess I should find a virtual background for myself. So as a reminder for everybody out there in Facebook land, if you're just joining us, we are doing a Wheel of Shakespeare. 10 random actors have been assigned 10 random roles and have been given 10 minutes to prepare. The theme is Under the Sea. We'll be doing Macbeth Under the Sea. And I'll try and find myself a virtual background while we're here, just in case. Backgrounds. That's fun. Oh, that's cute. Look at all those fish. Yeah, we'll do that one.
I'm just disappointed I don't have time to do like full Ursula makeup for the witch. That would be amazing.
It would. I believe in you.
I'm not that good.
An image. Nope, that's not right. Well, that's very silly. I guess I'm not going to use that image. Under sea. Let's try this again. Oh yeah, that's good. There we go. All right. Just over 5 minutes remaining as Lorraine dives onto her chair. And we've gone from dinosaurs to sharks. All right. Let's see what's going on.
Hey, TJ.
Yes.
How long is the Lord part?
I believe the Lord shows up in one scene.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yes, one scene. Act 3, Scene 6. All right. By the pricking of my thumbs, some pure chaos this way comes. All right, we're down to, I would say about 3 minutes left until we begin. If you're just joining us, we are doing...
Thank you, 3.
We are doing Wheel of Shakespeare, Macbeth, Under the Sea. Actors have been assigned random roles. Those roles, I guess I'll read them off again while I'm waiting for the time to go. As the Doctor, Messenger, Third Murderer, Angus and Donalbain, Michael J. As Banquo, Hecate, Seward, and Caithness, Jacqueline Hume. As Ross Menteith, the servant in the first apparition, Lorraine Ruth Rosenberg. As Duncan, the second murderer, Satan, in the third apparition, Shakira Searle. As Lady Macduff, a gentlewoman, and Lennox, Claire Bohannick. As the first witch, first murderer, Porter, and old man, Emily Durango. As Malcolm, the second witch, and Lord Matthew Kisher. As Lady Macbeth, the third witch, young Seward, and the attendant, Mira Singer, unless she loses connection, in which case it'll be me, Macduff, Macduff's son, Fleance, Sergeant. The second apparition will be played by Steve Anderson, with Paula K. Long as Macbeth, Under the Sea. Time is running out. And we'll see what happens. We're seeing a boat pull in. Boat is arriving at land as we are arriving under the sea. There's some poetry to that, I think. Claire, did you just get your hair wet?
Yes, I did.
That's
Oh,
dedication.
that's smart. Be right back.
I just washed mine yesterday. No way I'm freaking up my curls.
So I have a heck of a quick change on my hands, but here we go.
It's the Wheel of Shakespeare. No. Down to about 1 minute.
Hmm. Do I have time to run and get some more eyeshadow? Probably not.
I'm gonna say probably not, but
All right. Okay. I'll do it with acting.
this is the longest minute I've ever experienced.
The egg timer of doom is messing with us.
It is. Oh, there it goes. Macbeth, Under the Sea, Act 1, Scene 1. Enter 3 witches.
Really? When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
Early, early sun, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
On.
Foul is fair.
Foul is fair. Over to the fog and fill the air.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 2. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox with attendants meeting a bleeding captain.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the new estate.
This is Sergeant, who, like a good and hardly soldier, thought gains my capacity. Hail, brave friends, say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it.
How full it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. Merciless MacDonald will worthy to be a rebel, for that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gowl glasses as applied. Fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune, with his brandished steel which smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade him farewell, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chops, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwracking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed this not our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, the sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. I am faint. My cautious cry for help.
So will thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack upon a both. Go, get him surgeons.
Captain is led off by attendants. Enter Ross and Angus.
Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
But a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king!
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fifi, great king, where Norwegian banners flout the sky and fans our people cold. Norway him with terrible numbers, assist by the most disloyal traitors. The thanes of Tower began in dismal conflict till the Beldawn's bridegroom left in proof and confronted him with self-compression. Points against point, rebellious arms against arm, curbing his lavish spirits. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
The now, the Norwegian kings crave composition. Now, would we deem him burial of a man till his dispus at St. Colombe's Inch, $10,000 to our general use?
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, then with his former title grieve at death.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 3. Enter the three witches.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aroint thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I give thee wheat.
That kind.
I, another.
I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, and all the quarters that they know in the shipman's card. I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live, a man forbid. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here, I have the pilot's thumb, wrapped as a homeward he did come.
Drum, Macbeth doth come.
We are sisters, hand in hand, impostors of the sea and land, thus to go about
Thrice
Thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9.
Peace, the charms wound up.
Enter Macbeth and Banquo.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is't called to Forres? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it? Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail, Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail, Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly you show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me, you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail!
lesser than Macbeth,
Not
and
so
greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Hey, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Blams, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. And to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
Witches vanish.
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Oh, would they had stayed!
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor, went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
Enter Ross and Angus.
The king have happily received Macbeth the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal virtues and rebellious fight, he wonders and he praises due content, which sounds to be thine or his. Silence with that, in viewing or and the rest or though, the same day he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afraid of what thy dust might make. Strange images of death, and thick his tale came post with post, and every one that did bear thy praise in his kingdom's great defeat, and poured him down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a great honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition hail most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane, yet lives, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, whether he was combined with whose of Norway, or did the line the rebel with hidden help vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wrack. I know not, but treasonous capital, confessed and proved, hath overthrown him.
Glams and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tells us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success commencing in the truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look, how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him like our strange garments. Cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts to each other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 4. Enter King Duncan, Lennox, Malcolm, Donalbain, and attendants.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like leaving it. He died as one that had studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust.
Enter Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, and Angus.
Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before the swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion of both thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness' part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that has no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest. No, we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll make myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
Prince of Cumberland? That is a step on which I must fall down else or o'erleap, for in my way it lies. Oh, stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
Beth exits.
True, worthy Banquo. He is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 5. Enter Lady Macbeth, alone with a letter.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report that they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming of time with Hail King that shall be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shall be what thou art promised. Yet I do fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, thou wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have, great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do, if thou have it, and that which thou dost fear to do, then wishest should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear and chastise thee with the valor of my tongue, all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and the metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal.
Enter a messenger.
What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. One Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tidings, he brings great news.
Messenger exits.
Raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thought, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to top toe full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctuous visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold.
Enter Macbeth.
Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hair hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 6. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, Angus, and attendants.
The sandcastle hath a pleasant seat. The water sweetly and nimbly recommends itself unto our gentle senses. Truly, life is much better down where it's wetter.
This guest of summer the temple-haunting martlet does approve by his loved mansionry, and the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No juddy breeze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this shark hath made his pendant bent and procreant cradle, where they most breed and haunt, I have observed. The air is delicate.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
See, our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall God bid Hilda's furrow for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service in every point twice done and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he swims well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs in compt to make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces toward him. By your leave, hostess.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 7. Enter a sewer and servants with dishes and service over the stage. Then enter Macbeth.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination can trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here, but here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here. We teach bloody instruction with being taught, return to plague the inventor. With even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides this, Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the slightest couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind and sea. I have no spur but to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which leaps itself and falls on the other.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
How now? What news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale, and what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteems the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Be peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be then what you were, you would be so much more than man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn, as you have done to this.
We should fail.
We fail? But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains, will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limerick only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lies as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men and children only. For thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood these sleepy two of his own chamber and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
They exit. End of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Banquo and Fleance with a torch before him.
How goes the night, boy?
Oh, the moon is down. I've not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take it is later, sir.
Hold! Take my sword. There's husbandry in the sea. Their candles are all out. Take thee, that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that the sea gives way to in repose.
Enter Macbeth and a servant with a torch.
Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend?
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you, they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we should spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent, when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchise and allegiance clear. I shall be counselled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Banquo and Fleance exit.
Servant, go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready. She shall strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed.
Servant exits.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight, or art thou but a shark-like dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools, or the other senses are else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy teeth and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch thus, with his steady pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost shark. Thou sure and firm set sea, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Denkin, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Exits. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Lady Macbeth.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, that fatal bellman which gives good night. It's about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I am afraid they have us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it.
Enter Macbeth with bloody daggers.
My husband,
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owls
When?
cry. Did you not speak?
When? As I descended.
I,
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain,
This is a sorry sight.
a foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one that did laugh in sleep, and one cried, murder! That they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them back to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless me, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear. I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth doth murder sleep, the innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's great feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more. To all the house, Glamis has murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
Go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
He exits with the daggers.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
My hands are of your color, but I should wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears up of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nose. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 3. Enter reporter.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. There's napkins enough about you here, you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Another devil's name. Say, here's an equivocator back of the square in both the scales against thee, the fish scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Say, here's an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never a quiet. What are you? But this place is too hot cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon.
Porter opens the door to Macduff and Lennox.
I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is the great provoker of three things.
What 3 things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep and, giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir, in the very throat of me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, though he took up my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring?
Enter Macbeth.
Our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
The porter exits.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy thing?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I've almost skipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Macduff exits.
Goes the king hence today?
He does, he did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the ocean, strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dying combustion and confused events. Now hatched at the woeful time, the obscure fish clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Enter Macduff.
Our tongue nor heart cannot conceive no name.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke open the Lord's anointed temple, stole hence the life of the building.
What did you say, the life?
Me, his majesty.
Approach the chamber. Destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves.
Macbeth and Lennox exit.
Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, up, and see the great doom's image. Malcolm, Banquo, from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the ocean? Speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, it is not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell.
Enter Banquo.
Oh, Banquo, Banquo, a royal master's murdered.
Whoa, alas, what, in our ocean?
Look to the lady, and when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. The great hand of God I stand, and thence, against the undivulged pretense, I fight of treasonous malice.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality, all is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
Enter Malcolm and Donalbain.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood, so were the daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pauser reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known?
Help me, Henso!
Oh, look at the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate, hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize us. Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady,
Lady Macbeth is assisted to leave.
and when we have our naked frailties hid again, that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us, and the great hand of Poseidon I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
So do I.
So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
All but Malcolm and Donalbain exit.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office, which the false man does easy. All to England.
To Ireland. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloodier.
This murderous shaft, that shot, hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leaves talking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft, which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 4. Enter Ross with an old man.
70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Hath good father, thou seenest heavens as the trouble with men's acts threaten his bloody stage, but the clock this day and yet dark night strangle the traveling lamp. Is night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does face, of earth entombed with living light shall kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a shark, towering in a place of pride, was by a dolphin hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horse, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of the race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contended against obedience, and they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they ate each other.
They did so to this amazement of mine eyes and looked upon.
Enter Macduff.
Here comes the good Macduff. How good the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it not known who did this more than a bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth is slain.
Alas, the day, what good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donald, being the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still, thriftless ambition and will riven up thine own lives mean, and 'tis most like the sovereignty which fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors, guardian of their bones.
With you, to Scone.
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
May you see things well done there. But you, must our old robes sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, with those that would make good of bad and friends of foes.
They all exit. End of Act 2. Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Banquo.
Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Enter Macbeth as King, Lady Macbeth, Lennox, Ross, lords, and attendants.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a yap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie, forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should else have desired your good advice, which still had been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is't far ye ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time, twixt this and supper. Though not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night, for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord, our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend thee to you to their backs. Farewell.
Banquo exits.
Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
No, my
Servant,
lord, without the palace gates.
bring them before us.
Servant exits.
To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath the wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they put a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man to make them kings. The seeds of Banquo, kings? Rather than so, come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. Who's there?
A servant and 2 murderers.
Now, go to the door and stay there till we call.
Servant exits.
Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was.
So
So
please, Your Highness.
Well then, now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion craze say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue you go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, Mongols, Spaniards, curs, slews, water rugs, and demi-wolves are kept all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. And so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosom, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile tides and currents of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with shipwrecks, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any current to mend it or be rid on it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
My lord.
So is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down, and thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives.
Spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it, for must be done tonight. And something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness. And with him to leave no rubs or botches in the work, Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than in his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
My lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within.
Murderer's exit.
Concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
He exits. Act 3, Scene 2. Enter Lady Macbeth and a servant.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Not had all spent where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Enter Macbeth.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone of sorriest fancies your companions making, using these thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. So close and be yourself, while our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason hath done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks, be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, Unsafe the while that we must have our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces visards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
How full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife? Thou knowest that Banquo and his flayance lives.
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown her cloister's height, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rocky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents in their praise rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee go with me.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 3. Enter 3 murderers.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our officers, and what we do, have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear boats.
Give us a light there, ho!
Then 'tis he. The rest that are within are the note of expectation already, or at the court.
His ships go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually so all men do from hence to the palace gate. Make it their walk.
Enter Banquo and Flayance with a torch.
A light! A light!
That's him.
Stand to it.
Flayance, it will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
3 murderers attack.
Oh! 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 Oh, treachery! Fly, good Flayance, fly, fly, fly! Thou mayst revenge! Oh, slave! Oh!
He dies. Flayance exits.
Who did strike out the light?
Was it not the way?
There's but one down. The sun is fled.
We've lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 4. A banquet prepared. Enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords, and attendants.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
Enter the first murderer to the door.
See, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure. The table round. There's blood upon thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou did it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal, sir. Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad in general as the casing air, but now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in saucy doubts and fears, but Banquo safe.
Aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the last of death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom bleed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
Murder rigs.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched, while 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home, from thence the sauce to meet a ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion wait on appetite and health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Here had we now our country's honor roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present, whom may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please, 'tis your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is the place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare look upon that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. These flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter fire, authorized by her granddam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
What do you see there? Look, lo, how say you? What care I? If thou canst not speak to, if charnel houses in our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What, quite unmanned in folly?
I stand here, I saw him.
Fie, for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel, aye, and since too murders have been performed too terrible for the air. The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those who know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill, full.
To the ghosts.
To the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss Would he were here. To him and him we thirst, and so all to all.
Our duties in the pledge.
Avaunt, and quit my sight, that the earth hide thee, thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
But none dare, I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hycerian tiger shark. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerve shall never tremble. Or be alive again and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence!
The ghost exits.
Why so being gone? I am a mannequin. Pray sit you still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be? And overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange into the disposition that I owe. When now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
All the Lady Macbeth exits.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and shoes and rocks brought forth the secret man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which?
How sayst thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betime I will to the Weird sisters. More shall they speak. For more I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood steeped so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which much must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abused is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are, yet but young indeed.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 5. Enter the three witches meeting Hecate.
Why, how now, Hecate? You look angry.
Have I not reasoned, beldams as you are? Saucy and overbold, how did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, I was never called to bear my part? Oh, sure, the story, glory of our art? And which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now. Get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon upon the corner of the moon. There hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that, distilled by magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fair. And you all know security is mortals' chiefest enemy. Hark! I am called. My little spirit, see, sits in a foggy cloud and stays with me.
Come, let's make haste. She'll soon be back again.
The witches exit. Act 3, Scene 6. Enter Lennox and another lord.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret farther. Only I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead, and the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if to please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought of how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fact, how did it grieve Macbeth? Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear, that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was that not nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think that he had Duncan's sons under his key. As and please heaven, he shall not. They should find were to kill the father. So should Fleance, but peace. For from bad words and cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell me where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid, to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that, by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feast and banquets bloody knives, do faithful homage, and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so expirat the king, that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute sir, not I. The cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums as who should say, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer."
And that well might. Advise him to a caution to hold what disgrace his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
They exit. End of Act 3. Act 4, Scene 1. Enter the three witches.
Thrice the brindled cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harp your cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, but under cold stone, days and nights has 21. Sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fire burn and cauldron bubble, fillet of fanny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind wind sing. Lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of hell the trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf, of the ravened salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark. Liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of ewe, slivered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth-strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger fish chaudron for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Wood with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Enter Hecate to the other witches.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains, and everyone shall share in the games. And now about the cauldron sing like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Enter Macbeth.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags, what is't you do?
Deed
Without a name.
I conjure you that, by which you profess, however you came to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed seaweed be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's Germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
We'll answer.
Say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow. Grease that's sweetened from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself in office
deftly show.
Into the first apparition, an armed head.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff. Beware the thanes of Fifi, dismiss me enough.
Here thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright, but one word more.
Baby shark will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Enter the second apparition.
Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure and take upon to fate thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder.
Enter the third apparition, a child crowned with a tree in his hand.
What is this that rises like the issue of a king and wears upon his baby shark brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lionfish mettled, proud and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That shall never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfixed his earthbound root? Sweet Podman's good. Rebellious dead rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall leave the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this and an eternal curse fall upon you. Let me know. Why seeks that cauldron? And what noise is this?
Show.
Show!
Show.
Show
His eyes and grieve his heart.
And
grieve
grieve
his
his
heart.
Shadows so
Come
depart.
like shadows.
Come like shadows, so depart.
Show of 8 kings. The 8th king with a glass in his hand, and Banquo last.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down. Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs and thy hair. Thou other gold-bound brow is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth. Start eyes, what? Will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet? A seventh? I'll see no more. And yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass, which shows me many more. And some I see that twofold balls and treble scepters carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true. For the blood-boltered Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. What? Is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth so amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the sea to give us a sound while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
The witches vanish.
Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in, without there.
Enter Lennox.
What is your grace's will?
Saw you the Weird Sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereupon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of seahorses. Who was't came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipates my dread exploits. The flighty purpose ne'er is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand, and even now to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line, no boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool, but no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 2. Enter Macduff's wife, her son, and Ross.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness when our actions do not. Our fears make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom to leave his wife? To leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence he himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch for the poor wren. The most diminutive of birds will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom. Where is the flight so runs against all reason?
My dear coz, I pray you school yourself, but for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows to Fitzo, though seasoned. I dare not speak much further, but crucial are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumors from where we fear, not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea under the sea. Each way and move, I take my leave from you. Should not be long, but I'll be here again. Things aren't the worst will cease, or else climb upwards to what they were before. My pretty cousin. Blessings upon you. Here, take a dingle hopper.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer? It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Ross exits.
Sirrah, your father's dead, and what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean. And so do they.
Poor bird, thou didst never fear the net nor the lime, the pitfall nor the gin.
Why should I, mother? Poor birds they are not set for. My father is not dead for all your saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell him again.
Thou speaks with all thy wit, and yet in faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang up them.
God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st.
Enter a messenger.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearby. If you will, take a homely man's advice. Be not found here. Hence, with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage to do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Messenger exits.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm, but I remember now I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime, accounted a dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm?
Enter murderers.
What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-eared villain!
What, you egg? Young fry of treachery.
He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you.
Lady Macduff exits, followed by the murderers bearing the son's body. Act 4, Scene 3. Enter Malcolm and Macduff.
Let us speak out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us, rather, hold fast the mortal sword, and, like good men, bestride our downfallen birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like syllable of dollar.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no believe, and what I can redress, as I should find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb, to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Tyranny, lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Bear thou thy wrongs, thy title is afeard. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain thou think'st for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich East to boot.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts, why in the rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave taking. I pray you, let not my jealousy be your dishonors, but mine own safetyness. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think. Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps. It bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever. By him shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted, that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confinedest arms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none. In my voluptuousness, your wives, your daughters, your matrons and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust and my desire. All contentment and pendment would e'er bear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With these there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, and this other's house, and my more having would be a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
Avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable with other graces, Wade.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I pour sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am, as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. Oh, nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred. When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed and does blaspheme his breed. The royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeat'st upon thyself hath banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me into his from over credulous haste. God above, deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjured the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, and at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine, is my poor country's to command, whether indeed before that I hear reproach, hold seaward, with 10,000 warlike men already at point, was setting forth. Now will together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you so silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. It is hard to reconcile.
Enter a doctor.
Well, more anon comes the king forth. I pray you.
Aye, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great essay of art, but as his touch, such sanctity hath given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
Doctor exits.
It's the disease he means.
'Tis called the evil, a most miraculous work in his good king, which often since my here remain in England, I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen and usurless, pitiful to the eye. The mere despair of surgery he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken to succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction. With this strange virtue he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
Enter Ross.
See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that makes us strangers again.
Sir, amen. Stands Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave. We're nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where signs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's kneel is there. Scarce ask for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying and are then sickened.
Oh, relation too nice, and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour ago doth his the speaker, each minute seems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well?
All my children?
Oh, well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard of your speech. How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tiding, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was, to my belief, witnessed rather from that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time to help. Your eye is in Scotland, would create soldiers, make our women fight to dire distresses.
Be it their comfort. We are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, and older and a better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer discomforts with the likes, but I have words that would be held out in the desert air, well, ocean, where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause? Or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in the share same woes, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears suspend your tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sounds that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the matter, we're on the query of these matter dear to add to the death of you.
Merciful
heaven.
Merciful heaven, what manner ne'er pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words that grief that does not speak, whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too.
Yeah, wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
I must be from hence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. Oh, my pretty ones. Did you say all? All. Oh, my pretty chickens, and their damn at one fell swoop.
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. Must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their bard? Sinful Macduff, we're all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it!
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But should heavens cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length set in. Peacecape, heaven forgive him too.
This tomb goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for the shaking, and powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
They exit. End of Act 4. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter a doctor and a gentlewoman.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation to nature to receive all once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually, 'tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their scents are shut.
What is it she does now? Look at how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her to continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damned spot, I say, out. 1, 2. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier and afeard? What need we fear? Who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Life had a wife. Where is she now? What, will these hands ne'er be clean? No more that, my lord, no more that. You mar all with the starting.
Oh, go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven
Here's-
knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Atlantis will not sweeten this little hand. Oh.
What sight is here? The heart is sorely changed.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those who have walked in their sleep, who have died wholly in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you again, Banquo is buried. He cannot come out on his grave.
Even so.
To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed.
Lady Macbeth exits.
Will she now go to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove her from the means of all annoyance and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she is mated, and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 2. Enter Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, and soldiers.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge burns in them, for their dear cause would be to bleed, and grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them. That is way they are coming.
Who knows if Donald Bain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first manhood.
What does this tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murder sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith French. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered sons to recoil and star when all that within him does condone itself for being there?
Well, march we on to give obedience where 'tis truly owed? Meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge, each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march toward Burnham.
Exit, marching. Act 5, Scene 3. Enter Macbeth, the doctor and attendants.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? Spirits that know all mortal consequence have pronounced me thus. Fear not Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear.
Enter a servant.
The devil damn thee, black, thou cream-faced loon. Where's gott'st thou that goose look?
There is 10,000.
What geese, villain?
Oh, you're really serious. Yeah, soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face and overred thy fear, thou liver-lilied boy. What soldiers, Patch? What death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, whey-face?
The English force. So please you?
Take thy face hence.
Servant exits.
Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever or dissent me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sere, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age is honor, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
Put it on. Send out more horses. Skur the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she's troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind disease? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. Satan, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that would applaud again. Pulled off, I say. What rhubarb, senna, or what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hear'st thou of them?
Aye, my good lord. Your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 4. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, Seward's son, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, and soldiers marching.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand, that Chambers will be safe.
I lost my page.
We doubted nothing.
Cousin, you're lost.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham? Yeah, the word of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bow, and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host, and make discovery ere in report of us.
Shall be done.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope, for where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thought speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
They exit, marching. Act 5, Scene 5. Enter Macbeth, Satan, and soldiers with drum and colors.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here, let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful beard to beard and beat them backwards home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
He exits.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in't. I have supped full of horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me.
Enter Satan.
Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Enter a messenger.
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious, my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but I know not how to do.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave.
Let me endure your wrath, if it not be so. With this 3 mile, you may see it coming. I say, a moving grove.
If thou speak'st false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution, and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell, blow wind, come rack at least. We'll die with harness on our back. Ha!
They exit. Act 5, Scene 6. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, and their army with bows.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff, and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 7. Enter Macbeth.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? What's such a one am I to fear, or none?
Enter young Seward.
What is thy name?
Thou shalt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou call thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speak'st.
They fight, and young Seward is slain.
Thou wast born of woman, but swords and sharks I smile at weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man, that's of a woman born.
He exits. Enter Macduff.
That way, the noise is, tyrant, show thy face. Thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghost will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are higher to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheath again undeeded. There thou shouldst be, by this great clatter, one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
He exits. Enter Malcolm and Seward.
This way, my lord. The castle's gentry rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 8. Enter Macbeth.
What? Should I play the Roman fool and die upon mine own swordfish? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Enter Macduff.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words, my voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
They fight.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou the entrenched air with thy keen sword impress, as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man, and be these juggling fiends no more believed than that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it Here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would become to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before the body I throw my warlike shark shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold enough!
Fighting. They re-enter fighting, and Macbeth is slain. Macduff exits, carrying off Macbeth's body. Enter with drum and colors Malcolm, Seward, Ross, the thanes, and soldiers.
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man. So, which no sooner hath he power confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier he.
Oh, God.
Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is knolled.
It's worth more sorrow, and that's all spent for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Enter Macduff with Macbeth's head.
Hail, king, for so thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail!
Hail!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with you your several loves, and make us even with you, my thanes and kingsmen. Henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planned newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends aboard, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who as his 'tis thought by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned as scones.
Woo, scones! Yay!
They exit. End of play. Thank you for joining us once again for the Wheel of Shakespeare, Macbeth Under the Sea. A big thanks to our friend, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. You can visit him at his website, Shakespeare Approves, or on shakespeareapproves.com, or on Facebook at Shakespeare Approves, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. We've got links to all his content and more in the comments of this video. A big thanks to all the actors who volunteered to take this wild ride with us, especially if you've done it more than once. I don't know why you keep coming back for this insanity, but we do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this reading, all of our past readings are available on our Facebook page, a little better organized on our website, zenithplayers.com. If you want more information on us, including how to be involved in a reading like this one or not like this one, you can go to our Facebook page, Zenith Players, and send us a message, or send an email to casting@zenithplayers.com, and our technical director, that's me, will get back to you as soon as possible. We want to continue to express our support to everyone out there working to keep us healthy and safe and vaccinated. We are so next week we will be beginning our bi-weekly series, the Titanic disaster hearings. We'll be reading the actual transcripts of the Senate investigation of the Titanic disaster, and that will start next Saturday. Other than that, thank you for joining us, and good